Starting lineups for these two teams. The Galaxy did not play at the weekend, so there's 3 changes from the team that played RSL last Wednesday. Salt Lake, meanwhile, making 8 changes from the team that played at the weekend against Austin FC, and this honestly looks the stronger team.
I'm looking at LA Galaxy, that middle 3, Puig, Rubing, and Delgado. How quickly can they get on the ball, get the support system to that front line? For RSL, Rubin and Krylik, they have to have a good relationship. As one stays high and occupy the center back, the other one needs to drop in.
As Rubin does get us started, Real Salt Lake and LA Galaxy in the Open Cup quarterfinal. And for Real Salt Lake, trying to build on yet another away win last time out against Austin FC in the league. In arriving to this stage of the competition, the quarterfinal, this is their first home match, having won in Las Vegas, having won in Portland, and having won against the Rocky Mountain Cup rivals, Colorado Rapids. The Galaxy, meanwhile, this very much the positive news in their season, which currently sees them rock bottom of the Western Conference in Major League Soccer. But they are in an Open Cup quarterfinal, just 3 wins away from a trophy and what's been a very difficult season for Greg Vanney and company. Nice bit of skill there from Andres Gomez, who scored a fantastic goal in that 4th round win over Portland. It could potentially go for another one. Decent ball though into the area to Rubin, whose pullback is cut out there by Jalen Neal, and it's off the Galaxy central defender last in a corner to come for the home side.
And it's a good start from the home side. You just see the individual quality Gomez to turn the corner, and then it's all off the ball movement. Rubin from a weak side making a darting run. So again, asking questions, testing the shape of LA Galaxy in transition moments for the home side.
Pablo Ruiz will present the short option for this corner. It should be whipped in by Jefferson Savarino. He's been linked with a move away in the week. Back to Brazil, where he came back to Real Salt Lake from, as the corner gets swung in. A straightforward header away from the penalty area, and now Real Salt Lake will try and recycle a bit of possession here through Ruiz. And on the overlap, Brian Oviedo into a decent crossing position and towards that back post, and trying to throw himself at it there on that back stick. Looked like it was Silva who had stayed forward from the corner, and he commits the infraction.
Already 2 times for RSL, just beating LA Galaxy on this near side, ability to get around the corner, get numbers in around that 18-yard box, so not losing your individual mark for the 2 center backs. As I said, Niels needs to be spot on in terms of their positioning and discipline.
Cáceres, exactly where he thought that Caligari was going to be, the Brazilian right back, watching that one go out of play. Here's Ruiz, Argentinian, controlling things in that midfield area. 6th season with the club, as Gomez failed there. Rather, Mecca Anelli. Here's Savarino down that right side. Mentioned the move to Fortaleza in Brazil. Does look like Real Salt Lake will be busy in this transfer market. Tom Bogert, The Athletic, reporting today that Real Salt Lake could be making a record transfer move for Pachuca striker Chicho Arango, who is a prolific goal scorer for LAFC in the last season and a half before moving down to Mexico. It could be a short stint south of the border for Arango and potentially coming up to Salt Lake City.
And you look at the makeup for RSL, the only question mark was always they need a true number 9 who's going to fill a massive gap in just the players that they have around him, whether it's Krylik, whether it's Savarino around the corner. If you can get him, it's a nightmare, an attacking unit for Pablo Mascherano at his disposal.
Here's Oviedo, one of the few players that came in the last window in the summer. Players arriving after the change in ownership. Ryan Smith, David Blitzer now in charge after the league had temporary control of the team. Kept it going, but now some resources being poured in as Savarino gets across and towards Rubin. It's popped up in the air, and a straightforward claim there for Klinsmann. Is now medical attention we waved on for Jalen Neal, as Rubin and Neal's coming together results in head injury that warrants some treatment.
And again, it's all about the spacing, positioning from Savarino. He's going to stay high and wide, put a lot of pressure on O'Day. Does he go with the runner? Does he come to the interior? Good ball in. Neal just gets it right before the oncoming Rubin. Hopefully he's okay. Talking about off air how important he's been in the back line, the youngster for Greg Vanney. huge upside in terms of his positioning when he's individual battles, but also the ability on the ball just to pick up passes into that midfield third.
Neal, who did not go to the Under-20 World Cup, the Galaxy electing not to release him. Of course, the U.S. U20s did have an RSL player in the team, and Diego Luna. Neal staying home and week in, week out starter for this Galaxy team at 19 years of age. Started 13 games in the league and a couple in the Open Cup as well. It's Chicharito just having a word with his technical area. Neal still getting that attention. It's like in the neck area, making sure. RSL only keeping 3 players in their starting 11 from the Austin match. Gavin Beavers in goal. Justin Glad in the center of defense. Brian Oviedo. Glad, though, did not play the last meeting between these two teams, which came just a week ago. This very same fixture in the league. The Galaxy ended up winning that one by 3-2. Gaston Brugman converting a penalty, Memo Rodriguez and Tyler Boyd adding goals in the second half. Against goals from Danny Musovski and Pablo Ruiz. The Galaxy getting a win there and having the weekend off. So we played the same game in the same venue, just a week apart, with only rest in between.
It was interesting talking to Greg Vanney about that match, and he said, look, we got the result, but in the attacking phase, we needed to be a bit more patient. Too many times we broke their initial press and tried to play direct.
As Tyler Boyd heeds those instructions. Chicharito's crossed into the penalty area, is dealt with there by Silva. Left by Brugman for Puig. And now Julian Aude. We saw it in the build-up. Had a fantastic hit against the Sounders in the 4th round. Some on a strike from long range, but the turnover allows Andres Gomez to stretch his legs. You can see the incredible pace that he has. Held up by Cáceres. You see the guile and experience of the 36-year-old Uruguayan. 116 caps for Uruguay. The cross gets sent in, and a straightforward claim there for Jonathan Klinsmann.
And decision-making for LA Galaxy and their attacking third needs to be a bit better, but also transition moments. How direct Real Salt Lake likes to play Gomez, the pace that he possesses can cause all sorts of problems for the opposition. We talked about the experience from Cáceres, just to come over, move his feet, and make him play negative. So again, how are you understanding and negating transition moments for the opposition is going to be massive for LA Galaxy.
Getting away by Delgado, and now a chance for Salt Lake to have possession in the Galaxy defensive third. Ruiz, like he was going to go for a hit there. Delgado getting the initial touch, but couldn't carry it forward. 3-man midfield. So trusted by Greg Vanney. Boyd let Oviedo run beyond him temporarily. Is now Gomez lining up the cross. Cáceres had that read the whole way, and now Ricky Puig can get forward. Scored the goal of the round in the round of 16 against LAFC. Chicharito trying to cause Justin Glad a problem. And now touch passing out of the back there from RSL to break that initial wave of pressure.
And those moments are so special for LA Galaxy to find Puig in those half pockets facing forward. Talked about Chicharito, the ability to come to feet, but also spin in behind. Just that relationship between those two. So if you're Real Salt Lake, how clean can you be with the ball? Because if there's a turnover, you see how quickly the Galaxy can break.
As Delgado dispossessed there. Played with Greg Vanney at Toronto FC. Also at Chivas USA. 260 MLS appearances. As Gomez getting beyond one, the cutback is on. It was helped towards that back post, but not enough on it there. One back here by RSL as the pressure is still on. Savarino making the run through that penalty area, trying to get onto that cutback. That bounce over the head there of Oviedo, and out for the throw.
But how special has Gomez been? It's 2 times now he's beaten his individual mark. Take a look at this foul here. Or the no foul, actually. The extension of the arm. I think Jalen Neal gets away with one. Going back on that last opportunity. Gomez the ability to beat his individual mark inside that 18-yard box. But he has Kreilach just pulling a bit deeper around that penalty mark, just makes the wrong decision. He's been very bright in the first 10 minutes here.
Gomez, who right now represents the club's record signing from Millonarios in Colombia. Does look like Christian Arango would represent a new record should he arrive from Pachuca in the summer window. As the ball gets switched out towards that right-hand side, a summer acquisition, albeit probably not the headline maker in Major League Soccer today. Big news for RSL fans. Of course, the other game going on right now in the Open Cup does concern the headline maker in the world of American and perhaps world football today. Inter Miami leading Birmingham Legion by 1-0. A goal from Nicolas Stefanelli, who will now be teammates with Lionel Messi.
I've heard of him once or twice.
In a month's time. Absolutely remarkable. Transfer is now over the line, and certainly potential that he could be playing in an Open Cup semifinal away at FC Cincinnati in a couple months' time, should that result hold.
Just see the instant impact that he's already made at Protective Stadium. We saw about 10 Messi jerseys there in Alabama. Just fantastic.
They're printing them there at the ground. As that ball going out of play in the direction of Oviedo, and out for a goal kick. On the chase there was Gino Vivi, the Costa Rican winger. Started in that match against RSL a week ago, his first MLS start, and getting some more run. Greg Vanney talking about a different element that he provides from wide players in this team. A lot of the wide players are almost more comfortable in central areas, but Gino Vivi doesn't mind running the line and providing some pace.
And it takes a unique player to have the freedom and to be comfortable with their back to the end line. Invite a lot of pressure, but also test the back line in terms of vertical runs. Have a very good balance between him, Chicharito, and Puig, which likes to come to the interior in those half pockets. Chicharito stays high. He occupies the two center backs. So if you have a player that can get in between Justin Glad and Andrew Brody, that can cause a lot of problems for Real Salt Lake. So again, the movement between that front three, Chicharito, Boyd is going to come in well. Kind of a unicorn the way that he likes to play as well. He has the ability to go inside, outside. We see his run right now. Again, there's a lot of balance within that front line for Greg Vanney. Now
Puig wide here for Vivi into the penalty area. Goes for the curled effort, but it's Brody in the way. It's a nice ball into that central area from Delgado. Allowed Puig the chance to assess his options.
And again, we talked about the off-ball movement. As Boyd makes this run vertically, it opens up this gap. Great ball here from Puig, right off the shoulder of Anelli. Very unselfish, but give credit to RSL, the way that they shift very quick to put it out for a corner kick.
It will be Vivi who will take it. Joined in the college draft out of University of Central Florida. As he'll whip it into the penalty area. There's an awkward header there. We'll come here for Chicharito, who tries to cut back. Marcelo Silva in the way. Now Savarino controlling ahead of Vivi. A nice bit of skill to get beyond him initially, but in attempting to poke it beyond Julian Alde, gave it away. Chicharito was offside. And frustrated there with the Argentinian left back that played it to him.
There's a lack of discipline there from the striker. As Alde does very well to just stop this transition moment. You need to get yourself back on side to provide that support system, a focal point to play off of. You just see how comfortable LA Galaxy are sitting into mid to low blocks. So if you're RSL, you need to move the ball very quick, have players ability to pull out the center defenders through great gaps for other teammates. And so far, for Pablo Mastroeni's boys, it's been a bit too pedestrian-like in terms of the ball movement, very slow and very methodical.
Luis. And Emeka Anelli, their college draft pick. Ivy Leaguer was playing at Cornell. We're coming into Major League Soccer. First ever Cornell player to be a first-round pick in the draft. He's been trusted in this Open Cup. His role increased as well. It's knotted down there by Damir Kreilach. And again, Savarino getting the beating of a fullback. as Gomez has a crossing option. We'll go for the pullback with Damir Kreilach, who just couldn't get clean purchase to it. Those wide men are creating problems for the Galaxy.
And it's just a body control, the little stop and start to send his defender packing. Great movement there.
Ole from Ricky Puig. Ran through about 6 LAFC defenders in the last round en route to a goal. Certainly did not mind an exuberant celebration. As here's Vivi played in towards Chicharito. Again, Brody in the way for the first time tonight.
We just see the attacking talent that's on display here for both sides. Whether it's Jefferson Savarino on the back end, and here it's Puig. Just talk about the movement from the striker. The secondary, talk about Chicharito, probably the best in MLS to make that secondary run, to lose his defender. Just his service has been lacking so far for LA Galaxy.
And it's Vivi again to deliver. Swung in towards that 6-yard area. Gavin Beaver's out, and it's not the most convincing punch away. Allows Puig to control. Out it. Going for goal, and his effort high and wide of target. Never really troubling Beavers, who wasn't in complete control on that initial delivery.
You always want to punch it up and away. That doesn't get enough contact on it as you would like, but as this ball circulates around, you just see the defensive structure for Real Salt Lake. To deny secondary actions, a run into the box, how to just gets it all wrong. Leaning back, balances off. That's why you see go up and over the bar.
Again, the Galaxy coming forward with pressure. Chicharito getting a piece of Beaver's attempted clearance, now putting himself about to try and win it, and goes down under the weight of the challenge there from Justin Glad. Trying to win the sympathies of the referee as well for perhaps further discipline to the RSL center back, but a free kick of RSL's making.
It's all about pressing triggers for the visitors as they invite this ball into Anelli with pressure up his backside. You see how opportunistic Chicharito is. Long touch there from Beavers. And then he takes the contact here, just so clever from the experienced number 9. He knows Glad's coming down. He's always going to go down and win a very dangerous set piece for his home side. You need to be a bit cleaner if you're Real Salt Lake in terms of playing out of the back and picking and choosing your times when to break lines.
See the remarkable intensity as Puig will clip it in, and it was decently bent, but Oviedo gets rid. And Alde's return ball harmlessly out of play. Fans that dive deeper into the thrills and drama of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Join the conversation on Twitter and Instagram at Open Cup, and on Facebook at Official Open Cup. You might have seen Alvaro Barreal's goal for FC Cincinnati last night on at Open Cup a few times. That was an absolute stunner for Cincinnati and part of their 3-1 win over Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Delgado taking care of that initial bit of pressure, but Neal's out ball, unable to find Chicharito.
But it's the right idea from the LA Galaxy player just to break the lines with this initial pass. So again, if you're Paulo Ruiz or Anelli, you can't get caught up on the same plane. You both don't want to get high. One needs to sit in front of that back line to negate those types of balls, to stop transition moments, because that's what LA Galaxy is trying to do. Force turnovers and go back the other way very quick. Great movement.
Brody given license to get forward, and now Rubin is in. His low cross for Kreilach is a simple tap in. The two front men combining, and largely against the run of play, Real Salt Lake have the opener.
Patient, composed decision-making all on display here for Real Salt Lake. Justin Glad, the ability to push the issue, and then it's off the ball running. As this ball comes to the interior, Rubin goes around the corner. We talked about secondary movement from Kreilach to show he's coming short, and then at the last second, play off the shoulder of Cáceres. Composure from Rubin to pick up his head. What an easy finish that is for the captain of RSL. They get their goal. Dream start from the home side.
And Kreilach has been such a big figure for this club, as you mentioned, the captain. Coming back from back surgery, slowly worked his way into the starting 11, and he is such a important figure in this team. He's the club's top scorer in 18, 19, and 21. And put together nearly a best 11 season in 2021, 16 goals and 9 assists. And a captain's contribution there. Came off of Rubin last and out for the goal kick. Not the best look there from Galaxy defending.
Just look at Kreilach, the movement to change the direction. There needs to be a better rotation and communication between the back line. Whether you're Caligari, you need to move across or pull back a center back. It's far too easy to break down. Real Salt Lake will take it.
Yeah, it's that inside-out movement. Kreilach, who hit for a brace in the third round against Las Vegas Lights. Gets his third goal of the competition. Las Vegas Lights match was not as easy as the 3-1 scoreline would suggest. All 4 of the goals in that game came in extra time. First one coming in the 106th minute. And it was the floodgates opening as Puches Gambian Ruiz and clips in towards Chicharito Glad getting a touch. And it was just enough of a touch to deny the Mexican center forward from latching onto that one.
You just see the talent, able to turn out a tight spaces, Puch, and then the vision to go with it off the shoulder. Chicharito. Glad needs to make a play on this. Not Chicharito knows he's just chomping at the bit off the shoulder. What does this reaction look like for LA Galaxy now? Going down 1-0 in the first 20 minutes. Next 5, play yourself back into the game to try to take the sting out of this environment.
There's shouts for a free kick. Go for naught. Neal. And Aude. A pair of young fullbacks that have come into this team. He and Caligari taking those position in wide areas. Very young. That back line is very young. Cáceres can almost account for the some age of 2 of his defensive teammates. There's Brugman trying to get onto it there, but it's Oviedo in the way. Cáceres at 36. With Caligari 21, Aude 20, and Neal 19 around him in that back line. Experience and some youth, which has at times led to conceded goals. Galaxy conceding 26 in the league, RSL 27. These 2 teams have given up the most goals in the MLS Western Conference. They're expecting a bit of an open one tonight. They've largely gotten it, with RSL finding the breakthrough early stages. Here's Kreilach.
Just see the space between lines for RSL to pick their head up and find the right spots. Kreilach, this movement.
Now Gomez lining one up to have a hit, but it's straight at Jonathan Klinsmann.
It's a bit slow for the LA Galaxy backline to step out. Kreilach has the ability just to play off the shoulder of Delgado, and then Gomez comes across. If you're Greg Vanney, you want your lines to be a bit tighter, more compact in your defensive structure. We've seen it on the goal. Now we're seeing it once again. RSL ability to break lines with their passing, but all off the ball movement as well. Spaces that they're picking up, the overloads, whether it's Oviedo or Brody coming around the corner to create numerical overloads on the wide areas.
Now Puch making those charging runs as ever as Chicharito fell over, and he is pointing towards an injury. This does not look great. Chicharito, non-contact, bearing it on goal, could have flicked it out to the right side, and this does not look good for the Mexican center forward. He just puts his foot in the ground and something goes.
Just awkwardly goes down, something you don't want to see. Non-contact. Know anything about Chicharito, how of a competitor he is. Signals right to the bench. It's a hard one to take if you're Greg Vanney.
He's already missed a stretch of this season with injury. Hit the ground running at the start of 2022. 10 goals in his first 10, then had a calf problem. Finished with 18 on the year. And now that presents a real problem for the Galaxy. Chicharito was plenty well rested, missed the RSL League match as he was serving a red card suspension. Hasn't played for about a week and a half, but a bit of non-contact, awkward plant in the ground looks to be a real problem for LA Galaxy here. The stretcher comes out. And a big concern here for this Galaxy team that need any source of attacking inspiration they can find. Created good chances in the league and scored a few in the Open Cup, but in MLS play, it's just 13 goals from 15 matches, and they've been hoping their star DP, former Manchester United, all-time leading goal scorer from Mexico, could find some form here, but now looks like he'll be stretchered off. And it will be Dejan Joveljic who is prepared to come on for him. Galaxy fortunate to have two center forwards that have had purple patches of form. Well, Joveljic has largely done it when he's come off the bench for this Galaxy team. Only started 7 times last year, 25 sub appearances, hit for 11 goals last year. But on that evidence, Joveljic could be asked to play a big role going forward for this Galaxy team.
Yeah, that's not what you want. Your DP number 9 talking to Greg Vanney earlier this week. He said, look, we're not far off. It's when a lack of decision in the attacking third, maybe a mishap in the defensive half. That's why we've not gotten the results that we want. Looking to the interior, we got Chicharito going. We got him confident around goal. We could have had a completely different start to this season. But now as he goes out, Joveljic, 27 minutes in, what does this look like in terms of his preparation? How quickly can he get up to tempo to this game? He needs to say hi. He needs to ask questions of Justin Glad and Marcelo Silva, play off the corner, just be a focal point. That's what's lacking right now for LA Galaxy. Someone just to play off of and give an outlet. Again, best wishes to Chicharito. Hopefully, did not look good.
Caligari dispossessed there by the charging Ruiz. There's a couple of forward options with him. Krylak wants it pulled back to him. And on for Savarino. Vivi getting a touch. Now Andrew Brody. Let's see what RSL get onto it. The movement is quick. And Nelly now assessing his options for the cross. Krylak's header down. It's right at Klinsmann once more.
Once again, Chris, it's just so easy for Real Salt Lake just to play off the shoulder between Cáceres and Caligari on this near side. They're just getting caught in possession, but also just their positioning. The ball in, no rotation, no communication off the shoulder. Just thankful for LA Galaxy straight at Klinsmann.
Pooch. And Vivi. Tyler Boyd taking up a position in an essential area and having a strike. But Ruiz in the way. Pooch. He's often so patient, but also can help it on quickly as Brugman has a go. And it goes sailing over the bar.
Back to this opportunity here for Real Salt Lake. The time and space is about 30 yards away from goal. Someone needs to close down. Talent on display here on this field is just too good to pick out a pass from that distance. Krylak gets in between the right back and the right center back and straight at Klinsmann.
Another player down injured, this time Andres Gomez, who has had a very bright start to this one in the opening half hour. But slow to get up. It's uncomfortable for a fair bit, that passage in play. Looked like it was his attempt to put the challenge on Tyler Boyd. He went in for the challenge and made contact with Boyd's feet and almost got stepped on a little bit. You see there, into 10 minutes of stoppage time in Birmingham. Miami trying to hang on to the 1-0 there is Joveljic. Fouled there by Marcelo Silva. Not really earning too much sympathy there from Ricky Puig.
Just goes over the top of Joveljic. Joveljic is a target man, likes to invite pressure, likes to bring players in. So the relationship for Ricky Puig and Joveljic needs to be spot on. As Puig stays high, as Joveljic stays high, Ricky Puig has the ability to operate in between lines and also test the shape. Again, you want to get hip service, you want him to get confident. Just not clicking at the moment for LA Galaxy. Too many sloppy turnovers, balls going out of bounds.
That ball there from Delgado, not what he was hoping for. Another throw into RSL. This goal from Damir Kreilach represents the distance between these two sides in the opening half hour. Beavers on for Oviedo. Beavers, the 18-year-old, is taking command, the goalkeeper position for this RSL team after Zach McMath was inserted into concussion protocol. Just 18 years of age, but experienced with the Real Monarchs and determined to be ready for the challenges. Boyd with a nice first touch towards goal. Boyd's hit is at Beavers, who produces a decent save there. A big moment for LA Galaxy and a nice charging run into that channel from Boyd. Just couldn't apply the finish. Savarino now has Brody running beyond him. Could there be a chance down the other end? Andrew Brody in towards Kreilach. Tried to take it with his left, sliding to throw it out there as Oviedo returns. Another strike. It's right down. In towards Jonathan Klinsmann. Puig unable to control. Anelli winning it off him.
And it's better there for Manelli in terms of his positioning.
Oviedo in towards Gomez, who takes a touch into space. His cutback is in towards Kreilach, and it nearly came for him a second time. Just pinging off him. Avoiding the danger there, the Galaxy, as Boyd gets going forward again. He cuts inside of Glad, goes over the challenge, and that's as straightforward of a yellow card as you'll see. Justin Glad, the first player in this match to have his name taken.
And as Real Salt Lake likes to be expansive, they like to overcommit numbers in and around attacking positions that leave you very vulnerable going back the other way. Another Boyd, we're seeing his movement. Starts on the outside, comes to the interior just before Justin Glad. And like you said, Chris, knows exactly what he's doing. Puts his body between the ball. And Tyler Boyd takes the yellow card. So 33 minutes in, what does this look like for the center back in terms of his discipline and his positioning?
Greg Vanny looking towards his technical area, having to make a change he would not have anticipated. Taking off Chicharito. Do have confirmation of full time in Birmingham. Inter Miami are through to the Open Cup semifinal. And based on the timing of the semifinal, could be Lionel Messi and Inter Miami in the semifinal. Taking on FC Cincinnati, the Supporter Shield leaders. That is a tasty matchup on offer at TQL Stadium in a couple months' time. Caligari lofting in. Could come for Vivi on the back post, but he just can't control it. And Brody fortunate after misjudging it in the air.
34 minutes in, that's been the story for LA Galaxy. As we look at the bracket here, Inter Miami, FC Cincinnati, like you just said, Chris, what a tasty matchup that would be. Special someone can make his debut there.
And they will draw tomorrow. I said the game was at TQL Stadium. It'll be a draw tomorrow to determine who will be at home. And it will be a draw as well for the final. Semifinals on August the 23rd. And the final will be on September the 27th. A couple months' time. Prospect of Lionel Messi lifting silverware is a mere 2 games away in the competition. And that will be a talking point heading into the next round. Anelli. Also, some of the teams that have gone through, obviously Cincinnati going very well in the league, but Miami, bottom of the East, Houston Dynamo, not in tremendous form in the West. Neither of these two sides really towards the top of their conference either. So a chance really for a team to potentially lift themselves and give them a positive note in an otherwise difficult league campaign.
We talk to every single coach around the league, and whether it's in the Open Cup, USL, MLS, whatever it may be, just 3 games, 3 wins from a trophy. That's why you play this game, to raise hardware at the end of this thing. So you talk about earlier in the Open Cup, it's all about opportunity for players that probably don't get the nod, whether it comes to league play, to look at their manager after that, their match, and say, look, I deserve to be on the team sheet in the 18. But as you keep advancing round after round, now it becomes real. You can say, look, we can win a trophy. We can play in the Champions League if we get to the end of this thing. So again, playing these two sides, you see the talent on display there. LA Galaxy doing very well getting to that final third, but just lacking their decision making once again. That final execution has been lacking, whether it's a combination play, whether it's a ball across, trying to get on the end of it.
Rami Touchon there being particular with Gavin Beavers about taking the goal kick with a still ball, as Joveljic just about kept that one in play. Rather spectacularly, but no one there to run onto it. Beavers, who is the 3rd youngest goalkeeper to ever start an MLS match. Started 3 in a row now. Krylak is the goal scorer on the night. Kind of a nice move from RSL, finding the spaces in this Galaxy defense.
You just see the space in between the lines. Look at Nelly and Severino there. They get the ball in the half turn. There's an overload with Brody, the overlapping run. Again, you want to be a bit more compact if you're like Galaxy. More than 10 to 15 yards between lines. So far, Real Salt Lake has the ability just to pick out passes, whether it's playing direct, whether it's playing vertical. And winning second balls, you see the overload once again.
And Zanelli now driving RSL forward. Krylak picking out to Oviedo. Costa Rican. And Anelli. And Savarino. Decent build up here from Real Salt Lake. Brody does get converted to right back this season after the departure of Aaron Herrera to Montreal, but the Galaxy look like they can get forward here. Just pinging here, there, and everywhere, and eventually handball given against Joveljic.
Most of their attacking phases have just come on the heels of forcing turnovers, being very stout to break down. And when they get on the ball, they break quick, with Booch getting in those half pockets between lines. Again, just lacking how clean can you be to find your intended target. So far for Real Salt Lake, more on the front foot, more active in terms of defensive structure as well, and more confident on the ball.
Joveljic, who does come to the Galaxy with some pedigree, joined on the under-22 initiative. Was moved from Red Star Belgrade to Eintracht Frankfurt, was part of the attacking group that was tasked with filling the void left behind by Luka Jovic, who went to Real Madrid. Didn't work out for him, went on a couple of loan spells, and now finds himself in LA. Ruiz now. Ricky, you were pointing to that space just in front of that Galaxy backline where there's some space.
And you just see Lamar Hunt having the ability to play between lines. If you find him, it's a nightmare for this Galaxy side. And once again, they force a turnover, go right back again. And now they're overexpanded, they're vulnerable. So if you're Real Salt Lake, how quickly can you turn your defense into offense? That space right there is what I'm talking about.
Krylak going for goal and forcing Klinsmann to tip around the post. It might have been going wide anyway, but the Galaxy netminder not taking any chances.
And he's just so good at recognizing, as Rabin's saying high, he occupies the 2 center backs. So there's going to be a real estate right in front of them because they can't step out. Great first touch out of his body. You see what he's trying to do, bend it into that far post. But what a fantastic save that is from Klinsmann.
Klinsmann, who has been very much the cup keeper. Jonathan Bond continues in the league. Going to step in for the injured Bond at times. Klinsmann this season, who is the son of Jurgen, of course, the former U.S. men's national team coach. Neal. Now RSL with numbers forward, but nice ball out to Gaston Brugman. Just like to drive this team forward in towards Joveljic. Justin Glad having to be careful on that yellow card, and Joveljic playing off him. And this one inside a corner.
It's probably the best passage of build-out phase from LA Galaxy. As Puig drops in, he pulls out Anelli, so that gives a space for Brugman the recognition to advance into a higher pocket. Again, you just see it's Joveljic versus 4 Real Salt Lake backline members. Does very well to win a very dangerous set piece here right before halftime.
Here's Vivi. Easy catch there for Beavers. Right in the middle of that 6-yard area. No real challenges either in the air there from LA. Of course, won their round of 16 match against intra-city rival LAFC. A rivalry that has been dominated by LAFC in recent years. There's the champions of MLS, nearly the champions of the Champions League. We're going down to Leon. LA insert themselves into the newly named CONCACAF Champions Cup by winning this competition.
Just looking at that lack of movement on the front line, you need someone to break in behind and stretch this game to give Puig the ability to get on the ball. Yes, you want him on the ball, but higher spots is a great spot there from Boyd.
Nice run there. The player who's in Turkey these last few years is Puig. The delicious ball out towards Aude. Backed in towards Puig, flicked on in towards Joveljic, but wasn't occupying that space. Bouncing through, fortunately for the Galaxy, in towards the Argentinian Aude. Vivi. And Ricky Puig. Nice switch out towards Caligari, but has to retreat. This more the sort of patient possession that the Galaxy like to have. They lead Major League Soccer in passes completed. These lengthy spells on the ball. Haven't really done that too much tonight. 3 minutes before the break. Caligari in towards Boyd, who didn't let it run, but attempts the back heel in towards Puig.
I think you have to go back to what Greg Vanny said on our phone call. Said last week, once we got into the attacking third, we just played too direct. We try to speed things up, picking and choosing your times, when to put your foot on it, have the ball circulation, pick your passes and your positions and where you want to pick up. We've seen it a bit better in the last 10 minutes for LA Galaxy. And Puig has been at the thick of everything going forward for the visitors.
Oviedo. And Justin Glad. Krylock. Oviedo just losing out there at the vital moment, unable to control. Pablo Mastroeni stood in the technical area. Took over as manager of this side in August of 2021 after the departure of Freddy Juarez. Engineered one of the more remarkable MLS Cup playoff wins ever, beating Seattle Sounders and knocking them out of the competition without registering a single shot. 120 minutes, went on penalties. As now Puig getting the Galaxy forward. 3 options with him. Takes the option of Tyler Boyd, who goes for the curler. And we started it outside that post, but it was nearly another goal for Boyd against RSL.
Just requires so much attention, Puig here, as he draws in 2 RSL defenders. Boyd understands as Joveljic is staying central. If I just pull my side a bit wide, I'll create my own space. Oviedo's slow to close down. You see, he has eyes for that far post. Just doesn't get enough bend on it. LA Galaxy looking very dangerous in terms of transition moments. As this game opens up, there needs to be a bit more off the ball movement. Joveljic wants everything to feet. You want him to spin around and get in behind. So Justin Glad gets pulled out of position. That's when you get Vivi and Tyler Boyd in those little half pockets that can create all sorts of problems for the opposition.
Ruiz lofting out to Brody. Carrying on his run, but Savarino harried and unable to find that overlap. Brody, who did so much good work in the last couple seasons from left back. Glad. And Rubin timing his run well. Flag staying down. Rubin now in towards Gomez, who tried to flick it on and just couldn't direct it on target. Beyond the post and not by much.
Just all out of shape. The defensive structure for LA Galaxy. One ball breaks every single player. And as a number 9, you always want to make this near post run. It does two things. It pulls out a center back and opens up a gap for a secondary runner, or it gives you an opportunity to put this on target. Gomez does very well, just so unlucky, unable to find that far post. But once again, Justin Glad, the ability to break lines with this passing, the composure and the quality that he has on the ball has been so top class for Real Salt Lake 45 minutes in.
Gomez was appealing that it should have been a corner. There was a sliding attempt there to break that opportunity up, but referee determining that it did come off Gomez in the end is Aude, judged to be aggressive there with the challenge. Rubin, who gets the assist for the first goal and nearly another there. Had 2 goals at the weekend. Nearly a pair of assists in this Open Cup quarterfinal.
Just so composed once you get to that final third. How many times have we seen players, once they get to the byline, just smash the ball across and hoping someone gets on the end of it? 2 instances, he's picked up his head, found, well, let's cry like on the goal. This time it's Gomez. It's been such a big pickup for Real Salt Lake.
Brookman nearly surrounded by 3, but cheeky flick out towards Cáceres. Marcel coming with the pressure. Delgado putting his center back under pressure there, and Klinsmann was trying to get rid. Wasn't the most convincing, in Caligari now giving away. Rubin lining up a long distance hit. The deflection there comes off of Neal and bounces away for a corner.
You talk about managing moments, picking, choosing your times when to try to play out of the back, but also just when to kick the ball long and regrouping, gain some real estate higher up the field. Marcel does very well at squeezing and inviting this pressure, force a turnover, and now right before halftime, very dangerous corner kick here for Pablo Ruiz.
And now the corner to come, but the referee had stopped play to get things sorted in the penalty area before that cross was due to be swung in. Aude getting the talking to. Now Ruiz will get a second bite at it. It's in towards the near post. Joveljic flicking on. That was nearly profitable for an RSL player. Does go bouncing away for a throw. Is free kick given in the direction of LA Galaxy as Aude was caught. It's away from the ball. Or was it? No, it's a throw to RSL, so nothing given there. Oviedo trying to cross beyond 2, but picks up the ball anyway. Cross is swung in. Comes for Savarino. Challenge from Brugman. Brody getting beyond Vivi and getting the cross away. Neal forced to volley it away for the corner. RSL packing on the pressure. Maybe get a second before the interval.
Just making life very difficult for LA Galaxy just to play out of their back. First to every 50-50 ball, winning every second ball as well.
And we'll see what Savarino can do with this service. Again, the referee having to get things sorted in the penalty area. And again, it's Aude who's the subject of the conversation. Swinging towards that penalty spot. Free header there for Silva. And the referee has awarded a penalty. No VAR, so this will stand. And we'll see who was fouled in the midst of all that contact. But a chance here for RSL to double their lead before halftime.
As this ball gets swung in, I think Rubin ends up on the ground. There's contact between him and Cáceres. It's an arm around the corner, but that's very harsh. I think that's very soft to point to the spot from that distance there, Chris. I think Real Salt Lake get away with it. There is an argument to be had if you're LA Galaxy being initiating the contact. He's already going down.
Well, it is interesting that it's Aude that's responsible for the contact, because he had already taken 2 talking tos from the referee. So maybe on the 3rd time, I've already told you twice, it's going to be a penalty now.
Yeah, it's why put yourself in that situation? Why keep asking questions? Putting your hand in the cookie jar. Again, I just think it's soft.
Yeah.
I think Rubin is inviting the pressure. He's already going down. And if you watch every single corner kick around the world of football, that's such a routine play. And it's a right arm on the hip. Rubin goes down. Give credit to the attacker. So clever. Feels the contact. Goes down and knows. Aude's been in the mind of the referee. Now Krylak steps up to try to double the lead.
Rubin provided the assist for the first goal and provides the penalty win for the second. Damir Krylak, the captain, doubles RSL's lead. Gets his 2nd brace in this Open Cup. And RSL have 1 foot in the semifinal.
Cool, calm, and collected. Closes his hips at the last second, sends Klinsmann the wrong way, and hits it just so clean. Just ropes it into this near side. No keeper stopping that, even if Klinsmann guesses the right way. And off to the corner, Damir Krylak, first half brace, leading by example. You see what it means to him. RSL faithful as they get their 2nd goal right before halftime.
Captain's contribution there from Damir Krylak. Scored a brace in the 3rd round. Scores a brace in the first half of the 6th. And these supporters have not seen a home win since April the 22nd against San Jose, to be exact. Now have their side at 2-0 to the good. And for the Galaxy, insult to injury. They lose Chicharito to injury in that first half. And then Damir Krylak only goes and puts 2 past them. A tap in from Rubio Rubin's low cross. And then a penalty won by Rubin, given against Julian Aude for contact in the penalty area from a corner just before the break. And that's how we arrive with our score at halftime. Real Salt Lake 2, LA Galaxy 0. A mountain to climb for Greg Vanney's side, but RSL have bounced back from defeat a week ago against the Galaxy in the league. They now lead by 2-0 in the Open Cup with a trip to the semifinal on the line. Your score at the break is Real Salt Lake 2, LA Galaxy 0. Real Salt Lake leading LA Galaxy by 2-0 in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal. It is the final quarterfinal of this round, and so let's take you through the highlights of the other games. Chris Whittingham and Ricky Lopez Espin taking you through it, and there's a bit of a controversial goal to open the scoring in Cincinnati. Baji on for Vasquez. There might have been 2 offside there.
I think if you affect the play, you have to get called offside. Baji does that. Vasquez as well, but take nothing away from the finish and take nothing away from this finish as well, Chris.
Alvaro Barreal from way downtown. A banger for FC Cincinnati. Goal of the tournament, surely.
Just the technique it takes as it's coming over your right shoulder, head down to hit it across to that top corner. You just see everyone doesn't know what hit him. And then third goal on the day here, Arias gets in, beats his individual mark, and what a towering header as FC Cincinnati takes down Pittsburgh Riverhounds 3-1 and advances into the semis.
Arias getting the goal. Barreal another assist. We go now to Chicago. Aliou, or rather Amina Bassi getting the penalty for the opening goal, and then Aliou played it behind your fantastic ball from Coco Carrasquilla, and Ibrahim Aliou with a cool finish to make it 2-0 for Houston.
And just cool, calm, and collected. Tsuke gets one back here for Chicago Fire, but talk about Frank Lopez. The lack of defensive structure was all over the field. Give credit to Houston Dynamo coming in to this field at SeatGeek Stadium, and what a terrific finish this is for Ibrahim Aliou to get his brace on the night, and then Hector Herrera was terrific, getting himself in an advanced position. The decision-makings as Quinones puts a nail in the coffin. 4-1 on the road, Houston Dynamo semi-finalist.
Quinones was in about 30 yards of space and well found there by Herrera for the final goal. And then earlier tonight, Inter Miami taking on Birmingham Legion, the only USL team left in the competition, and this would be the game's only goal. In behind Coco Jean, Joseph Martinez trying at it, but Nico Stefanelli gets the game's only goal.
Goals in back-to-back Open Cups. You just see the secondary run off the shoulder of Martinez. Doesn't hit it as clean as he would like. Every goal counts, and they're off into the semifinals, and they will play FC Cincinnati. What a tasty matchup that will be.
And a first win in interim charge for the former RSL man, Javier Morales, in charge of Inter Miami now for the time being. So these are the 3 full-time results. Obviously, we have Salt Lake and Galaxy going on right now that you are watching. So here's how the bracket looks as things stand. It's FC Cincinnati taking on Inter Miami. Houston Dynamo will face the winner of this game, which right now is RSL, leading by 2-0. They'll have a draw tomorrow to determine which teams will host both the semifinals and the final.
I think it's going to be very interesting for the other semifinal, FC Cincinnati, whether it is at TQL or at Dry Pink. Obviously, someone might be in the fold there, so you're expecting quality atmosphere. The Houston Dynamo and Real Salt Lake, you talk about America's first field here, the quality, the 20,000 that they were expecting, sold out place, and then Houston Dynamo as well. So again, these are the games you want to play in as a player. Do or die situation. Semifinals of Open Cup doesn't get any better than that.
Plenty of ticket sales for whichever venue hosts that other semifinal, though, with Lionel Messi potentially playing in it. Real Salt Lake leading the Galaxy by 2-0. We'll show you highlight stats, and we'll get to the second half coming up next as you're watching the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal. Real Salt Lake leading LA Galaxy by 2-0 at the break. Here, as you see the Rockies in the background in America First Field. A beautiful backdrop for this Open Cup quarterfinals. Take a look at the first half highlights. Justin Glad carrying well forward. Simple pass into Savarino, and then Rubin's cutback leads to the tap-in for Krylak for 1-0.
And you just see the confusion all over this LA Galaxy backline. No one steps up in to engage with Justin Glad. It's just so easy, up, back, and through. And Krylak, what an easy finish with Pooch, I thought was fantastic in this first half. The ability to pick up the ball in deep lying positions between lines, causing all sorts of problems for the Real Salt Lake backline. But again, the final action was just lacking for LA Galaxy in this first half.
And Real Salt Lake would try and push on. They would create plenty of chances. This from long distance, a decent save there from Klinsmann from the strike of Krylak.
And again, the two center backs need to pull someone in the center of the field to drop in that space. Krylak is just so good at the recognition. And then this one, is it a penalty? Is it not a penalty? There is an extension of the arm around Rubio Rubin there from Aude. It's soft, but again, if you're a defender, why put yourself in that position? Why put your arm around him right in front of the referee? Krylak steps up, cool, calm, and collected as you would like, and just ropes this thing into this near post.
And Krylak getting that second just before the break from that penalty given away by Aude. The Galaxy players continuing to talk to the referee before and after halftime. They're still having conversations, but I think the numbers pretty show a fairly sound Real Salt Lake domination.
And we'll start with the visitors. LA Galaxy, I just think that center of the field, their spacing, the positioning, the rotation has been all off for Greg Manny. Too many times the gap between lines was just so big. And the players for Real Salt Lake, they're just so smart. As Rubin stays high, Krylak comes a bit deeper to get on the ball in the half turn. Severino, I thought, was fantastic, had glimpses. But again, getting yourself into the advanced position. But how clinical can you be for both of these sides? For LA Galaxy, get on the ball a bit more, find Pooch a bit higher, and Joveljic needs to get more service.
And Rami Tushan having words there with the Galaxy players, including Dejan Joveljic in that midfield, having to sort through that decision that resulted in the penalty award. Now, one bit of context missing there is the penalty is given against Julian Aude. The referee had had a few conversations with the Galaxy left back about his defending from set pieces, so that could have contributed to the award of the penalty. As we're underway in the second half, Galaxy now having to come back from 2-0 down and get a couple goals here in this second half. Now, when they beat RSL here in this building a week ago, they were 2-1 down in the second half before getting goals in the game from Memo Rodriguez, who is out with a thigh injury, and Tyler Boyd. The other headline from that first half, not in that highlight package, is Chicharito Hernandez picking up an injury. As the sliding intervention coming there from Marcelo Silva. See Tyler Boyd with that enormous wrap around his hand. He came into the game against Real Salt Lake playing through a broken hand to come off the bench and score. And still with that big wrap on that left hand. And here's Boyd's delivery. Cáceres tracking it, and he did get something on it, but was always going straight out of play. Referee judging that Glad with an intervention as well. Referee unmoved at Cáceres' potential appeals.
Like a bit of an awkward collision between him and Glad on the back end of this thing. But he's okay to keep on going. Good to see him up on his own power.
Second bite at the cherry for Boyd. Cáceres again, this time popping up the header. Aimlessly out of play. So Aude has the penalty given against him. Chicharito out due to injury. It was non-contact. He was charging forward. It was a promising Galaxy attack. Had the potential to flick it out wide or drive LA forward, but instead it's Chicharito's night done, and certainly concerns about longer term. Such an influential player. And for 18 last season and 17 the year before. Savarino. My players have had tons of joy tonight. Savarino down this side and Gomez down the other. Creating chances. Ruiz in towards Savarino. Again in space. His low cut back in towards the near post is a straightforward bit of defending there from Jalen Neal before Rubin could get onto it.
having just so much success from these deep lying runs around the corner. As this ball comes to the interior, Severino continues his run and no one marks him. There's slow in rotation between the back line for LA Galaxy. Really, Neil needs to put a foot on this. It's an up for corner kick, but again, just so easy for RSL to play between lines and break their lines with running with no one tracking them in a white jersey.
Ruiz into the heart of that penalty area. An initial touch there from Krylock and awkwardly away there from Cáceres. Here's Gomez turning on the pace. Low driven ball comes through and it's off of Klinsmann and into side netting. A bit fortunate for the Galaxy keeper, and that's in the back of his own net.
It's a bit of magic out of nothing here from Gomez. It was so good in this first half, the ability just to beat his players with pace. And as he elects to go for goal, nervy moments between the sticks for Klinsmann. Fortunate enough for him, it goes just wide of that near post.
See there, it comes bouncing off him and it could have gone anywhere. Savarino's ball whipped in towards that near post. Caligari was positioned well. Buch helping it on here for Gino Vivi. Actually going forward, and now in plenty of space here is Mark Delgado. Options either side. Plays in Boyd. It's inside of the defender, but put off enough there. Delgado again to the back post. Headed away. A promising attack for naught. Buch clips into the back post. Saw Brugman out of the corner of his eye, but just couldn't find him with the right ball. Nearly a lethal counterattack there from LA.
What a golden opportunity today is for the visitors. If you're Delgado, you need to make Andrew Bodie make a decision. If you draw him in, that's when you dish it out to Tyler Boyd. And as you played early, Bodie just has the freedom to shift across and negate this transition moment that allows the remaining players to drop back. And if you're Pablo Mastroeni, you're going to be frustrated with that. On your offensive set piece, so much gets caught in transition. Needs to be better in terms of your +1 defending.
Ricky Buch. Like the angles are opening up for him, but didn't quite find the right option. Gomez unable to keep it in play. And a trip to the semifinal on the line. Match against Houston Dynamo. It's location to be determined tomorrow via a draw. Buch given away. Again, plenty of space for RSL to charge into. Rubin in behind, lovely ball, and there's the third. Who else but Jefferson Savarino? Scored the wonder goal against Colorado in the 5th round, and now a semifinal beckons for Real Salt Lake. They lead LA Galaxy by 3-0.
Comes on the heel of a bad turnover there from Buch, and as they overexpand, they leave them very vulnerable going back the other way. You talk about decision making, you talk about timing. As this ball comes out, Savarino breaks at the right amount of time, right off the shoulder of Delgado. And talk about the finish, just so cheeky. Opens up his hips and closes them at the last second, sends Klinsmann the wrong way. And off to the fans to celebrate. 3 at home. Terrific showing for the home side here in front of their faithful.
It'll be their first Open Cup semifinal since 2015 and just their second ever. They have a deserved 3-0 lead, creating a fair few chances as Gomez dispossessing Buch there. And the referee coming to Buch's aid before RSL charged away with it.
We talked about at halftime, Chris, just the shape and the balance for this middle three for LA Galaxy. It's a sloppy turnover, and there's tons of real estate in front of the back four. It's a 4v4 going back to the way. So yes, if you're Buch, there's no need to force the ball into the center channel. You just connect your passes, play simple. But again, you need someone screening in terms of situation just like that. No one's there. You get punished in the end, 3-0.
Out there. Real Salt Lake continue to be prolific in this competition. Hit for 4 against Portland, hit for 3 against Vegas, hit for 3 yet again here tonight. On 11 goals in the competition. Here's Justin Glad. For LA Galaxy going through an encouraging period as Neal has gone through the back there. Referee Rami Touchon wanted to have a word there with Jalen Neal.
Once again, Chris, that's your center back stepping up so high. That's right around half line. That needs to be Brugman. That needs to be a Delgado negating that pass. Justin Glad has been terrific with the ball at his feet to play vertical, to break lines. We talked about shape, and we talked about that coverage between that middle three. There's just no one there. It takes out a whole line of that midfield with this ball, and then it forces the hand of Neal to step off his line. Ruben Rubin, just so clever, feels a contact right in front of the referee and goes down.
As Real Salt Lake press on Oviedo into the penalty area, wasn't the right ball. Away for a throw. RSL are not hanging back and defending their lead. They're going for more. They're trying to finish the Galaxy in this competition. They're in the mood tonight. Lovely there from Oviedo. Silva. Around the corner, given away there by Real Salt Lake's Damir Kreilach. Pooch trying to find Joveljic running in behind, but Justin Glad, the sliding intervention, was up to the challenge, the ever-steady defender. Just fill in and take the armband when Damir Kreilach is unavailable. Him the first ever homegrown player for RSL to wear the captain's armband. Been with the club in some capacity since 2012. First with the RSL Academy in Arizona. And here as a homegrown player since 2014. Pooch on the turn. And yanked to the ground there. That's going to be a yellow card for Damir Kreilach. It's a clumsy challenge and getting a fair bit of the Spaniard.
You know he's going to get in trouble when you come through the backside. Gets in the wrong side. Just see not a lot of contact, but it's the intent. Ricky Pooch just gets on the blind side of the two-center midfielder for RSL. Gets on the half turn, forces the hand of the captain for RSL.
Vivi and Aude. Oviedo having to control in the penalty area. Not really under a ton of pressure though. Able to emerge with it. Kreilach. So good to see him back in form in 2021. He was spectacular for RSL, getting them into the playoffs. That big switch. Goes out for the goal kick. Greg Vanny mounted to climb another performance that leaves more questions than answers for a Galaxy team that pretty much going through a rough patch. President Chris Klein departing the club. The question is, where does the hierarchy go from here? Are they pleased enough with the results under Vanny as Vivi goes for goal? Of course, the context does matter. Galaxy playing with a $1 million fine, allocation money this year. No international transfers coming in the summer window either for the Cavalry to arrive, and Galaxy having to press on with this squad. Right now is bottom of the West and look on their way out of the Open Cup. Julio, or rather Gomez. Anderson Julio is available from the bench, although not certain RSL need attacking options from the bench at this moment in time. Brody. There's Emeka Eneli. And away there by Brody. Brugman trying to break lines quickly and get the Galaxy going forward in a transition moment. Nearly gave it away, now has given it away. Emeka Eneli has put in a solid performance in the middle of the park. Ruiz. Able to find Gomez, who has switched flanks here with Savarino, though it's Savarino who runs down this right. So really free rolls for the ostensible wide men. Trying to poke beyond Neal. He's got beyond Neal, and a hand around the waist. And a yellow card coming for Jalen Neal.
And you're exactly right, Chris. Savarino has the ability to roam around the field as he sees fit, whether it's on the left flank, right flank, centrally. Just a special player. Since he's came back into RSL, he's been just spectacular. The ability to create goals, create assists, 4 goals and 4 assists within MLS play, but also make players pack. Ability to beat players 1v1, so quick, so slippery. As he draws in the center back to pick up a yellow card.
And now a free kick to come. Ruiz will swing in into the heart of that area. It's a free header and a save from Klinsmann. Marcelo Silva. There's so much room in that penalty area. But the Galaxy keeper up to the challenge.
And we've seen how important set pieces are throughout this Open Cup. Good ball in from Pablo Ruiz, but no one's marking him. No one has the individual tenacity to stay like for like with Marcelo Silva. Terrific header, but even better save from Klinsmann.
Now from the corner, Ruiz lofting in. Savarino. Get beyond Aude. So many tricks, such ability to get beyond players. Gomez shifting inside of Brugman. Savarino trying to return for him. Colombian and the Venezuelan. And irresistible tonight. Nearly combining for some more magic there. On the hour, RSL comfortably on top. Ball towards Rubin. Just a bit too much on it there from Freilich. And a triple change being readied by Greg Vanny. Joveljic is tripped up from behind. Another yellow card coming. It's going to be Eneli who takes the further discipline there from Rami Touchant. Now the changes will come on. Joveljic had gotten in behind the Lansing, Michigan-born midfield player. The yellow card starting to rack up a little bit here.
You need to see a bit more of this if you're Greg Vanny. Just a relationship between Joveljic and Puig. Like you said, just gets off the corner. Just so unlucky. All about service into the target man. It's been lack thereof for LA Galaxy.
And here is the triple change. Julian Aude, Mark Delgado, and Gino Vivi will make way for Raheem Edwards, Daniel Aguirre, and Douglas Costa. Plays for the first time as he started and only went 45 against Orlando City back in April. Designated player. Joined from Grêmio in Brazil. He's been in the headlines recently. Not for the right reasons. Let's come on. Potentially give LA something for a half an hour. As he would turn to a player of Costa's quality and pedigree to try and get going. He's brought in with hope and expectation, but only for 4 goals and 2 assists and 27 appearances last year. The DP impact that LA were hoping for. Edwards puts a nice challenge in, but really missing out on it there was Brugman. Puig. Costa. And Caligari. Teasing one ball in and chips it in. Away from Ruiz. Only as far as Aguirre, who comes on as a sub. Puig now going for goal. See his frustration with the runs or lack thereof around him. Demonstrating towards Tyler Boyd.
Just seem on their heels the front line for LA Galaxy at the moment. I think the substitutions that Greg Vanney instills cost up Aguirre the ability just to insert some energy, willingness to get in behind to create a little bit of magic. Talent's never in question, but the execution has been.
Costa with a nice ball into Puig. And clipped there edge of the area was Aguirre, but referee unmoved. Boyd, low through the penalty, it comes from the back post, and it's sent wide there by Caligari. Arriving on the scene to potentially give the Galaxy a lifeline, and he puts it wide of target.
As this ball circulates back into Puig, just look at the run from Joveljic. That pulls out Andrew Brody. Now as this ball comes back across the mouth of the goal, so many players miss. Caligari is going to want this one back. You need to be hitting the target from about 10 yards out. Probably the best passage of play there from LA Galaxy on top of the 18-yard box. Quick movements, players pulling it. Opposition players out of position, just lacking that last bit of quality to test the goalkeeper.
There's now changes coming for RSL. Saw on the board Anelli off for Ojeda. Also told that Rubin will exit for Anderson Julio, but question is now, is there another change or different changes coming, because Brian Oviedo is down. Also looked like Michael Chang was stripped and ready to come on. Chang has had a good run in the Open Cup. Scored that brace in the away win against Portland Timbers in the 4th round. There you see the changes getting ready to come on, but the dynamic have changed. You have both Hidalgo and Brian Vera available as defenders from the bench, should they be required. So Ricky Puig frustrated there with the delay here, as Oviedo will walk off. So showed you that Anelli was coming off. He'll actually stay on, and Ojeda will come on for Brian Oviedo. So Oviedo off, Savarino off, and Rubin off. The introductions of Michael Chang, Brian Ojeda, and Anderson Julio. Some fresh legs coming on here, and RSL taking a bit of the sting out of the game when the Galaxy looked like they were enjoying some periods. A big chance for Caligari gone begging.
You just see what happens when you have movement on the front line to create openings for other teammates. And Puig has a very good understanding of the spaces, when to pick up in advanced positions. Again, just lacking that last bit of quality, the clinical element to this game for LA Galaxy. Now this is going to look different here for Real Salt Lake. Take in a Ruby Rubin, you bring in an Anderson Julio, the ability to stretch the game, the pace that he possesses. He's going to look for the ball in behind, so it's going to open up spots for Kreilach to come a bit deeper. And when you talk about Chang, the quality, right foot, left foot, beat players 1v1 combination play. Well, depth as well for the home side. Players that, if you look around MLS, can be starting every single week in and week out.
So after the lengthy delay due to injury, changes come on. Ojeda straight into the game. Looks like Anelli will take a position on that right, and Andrew Brody will play from left back, as Klinsmann has to take a couple of controlled touches to get rid there.
And it does look like Anelli's plays at the right back. You have Ojeda and Pablo Ruiz, the two double pivots, and Brody's going to shift to that left back position.
Chris Whittingham, Ricky Lopez Espin with you here, taking you through this Open Cup quarterfinal. The last of the round is Raheem Edwards has gone down and looks to be in real pain from that challenge, grabbing at his left ankle, looking uncomfortable there. Amir Kreilach with a brace in the first half. Jefferson Savarino adding another in the second half. Galaxy have at times created, have been a bit vulnerable at the back. As Beavers gets rid, he trying to keep an Open Cup clean sheet. Edwards stepping forward. Booch and Douglas Costa. And that switch out towards Boyd. Salt Lake back in their shape. Raheem Edwards. A very good season last year from left back, particularly with providing attacking contributions. Hit for 6 assists in league play, which not for Philadelphia's Kai Wagner, who had 15 in the league. And a fairly impressive figure from left back, as Edwards has just slipped on the edge of the area, but pulled back for the earlier challenge from Andres Gomez, who gets the persistent infringement count from the referee. And now a free kick to come from a decent crossing position here.
And he's been bright since coming in. Raheem Edwards, just a jolt of energy. That's a foul right there. As he plays advantage, though, the referee decides to bring it back. And it's been a good substitution off the bench here for Greg Vandy. There's an insertion of energy, quality, the willingness to take people 1v1 as well.
Boyd will leave it for Costa, who goes for goal. And it's a leaping catch there for Beavers. Hasn't been tested in a long while. Douglas Costa just making sure the 18-year-old was alert to that sort of effort. Glad. It's the switch miles over the head there of Andrew Brody. Look at that effort from Costa.
He hits it well. A lot of pace and a lot of power on it, but asking for something spectacular to beat Beavers from that distance. Fairly simple save for the goalkeeper.
Booch, nice burst of pace to get into the attack. Trying to help it on there for Joveljic. Comes for Edwards, whose effort is dragged well wide. And Booch nearly drifting through the full RSL defense as he did to LAFC in the last round. Chance coming for naught. Fans, mark your calendars for the U.S. Open Cup semifinals on August 23rd, and tune in tomorrow for the final draw that will determine which clubs get home field advantage in their quest to claim U.S. Soccer's national championship. See the team's fortunes unfold live on the CBS Sports Golazzo Network's Box to Box at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then it's tomorrow to determine the draw, the Open Cup semifinal and final. We know the matchups. It'll be Miami and Cincinnati. Houston versus the winner of this match, which looks on its way to being Real Salt Lake. Where will the games be? Will America First Field host in another round? Marcelo looked plenty comfortable here at home, although it's not been the best home form this season. Gomez challenging from Brookman, and Aguirre helping it on. Aguirre has been a regular from the bench this season, as Boyd trying to get onto it and just misjudged it. Aguirre, who earned the opportunity to get in the good graces of Greg Vanny ahead of 2021 in preseason. Signed a USL deal, and within a few months was back in the first team. So Mastroeni giving those sorts of opportunities to plenty of players, particularly in this season. Regularly making tons of changes in between games in this busy period in Major League Soccer. As it's long in behind in towards Anderson Julio, but the offside flag up. This stretch of games, 4 Open Cup rounds and 2 rounds of midweek MLS action as well. And the games have been piling up quickly for a lot of teams around the league, and Mastroeni taking an aggressive approach to squad rotation. Worked out for him on Saturday. 8 changes. Some of the players that you would think wouldn't be the most fancied, they go get an away win in Austin. As now Ojeda emerging with it. See his fresh legs since coming on. Julio Dispossessed from behind there, poked off him.
Just going back to the conversation we had with Pablo, talking about the rotation. So look, that's the trust that I have in the roster that we've built here in RSL. And yes, it might look different from trait to trait. Players have different personalities, different qualities, but they always know the role that's asked about them. That's a culture that we've built to understand that the spaces that you want to pick up, whether you're playing on the left side or right side, essentially, this is how I want to play. And still, yes, it might look different from player to player, but the understanding of the game plan and the tactical awareness and question marks and challenges is never in question for this RSL side, and it's on display here. You talk about rotations, you talk about so many games over a short amount of time. Haven't missed a blink, this RSL side.
As Chris Mavinga will come on here for the last quarter of an hour, return to the bench tonight after a lengthy period out with injury. We'll get a little more than a quarter of an hour's run out here. Work his way back into fitness. Figure well familiar of playing under Greg Vanney, manager here in LA now. Was in Toronto for 6 seasons, part of that side that won the treble. Nearly won the Champions League. Brought in with championship pedigree, was said upon signing. Hasn't been fit to bring it into this team. Pooch does well just to drift through and find that ball in behind. Boyd in towards Joveljic, and Joveljic going down. A bit of a nibble in there from Marcelo Silva, but the referee unmoved.
This Galaxy side has been begging for someone just to break in line in terms of their running. This ball comes to the rotation to his left-hand side. Boyd has his head up the whole time. Goes down a bit too easy. Joveljic looking for that point to the spot there. See no argument to be had.
Galaxy yet to find a player that's really found that rich vein of scoring form.
You just see the space between lines. Like has the ability to have a full turn and now out the other way.
Gomez, his cross is massively overhit.
There needs to be better in terms of communication, whether it's Cáceres or whether it's Mavinga, just to pull down a Brueggemann or an Aguirre. Just have that single pivot in front of that back line to negate those passes that break the whole midfield line for LA Galaxy. That's been so lethal to them, so detrimental. That's why you've seen a lot of pressure and a lot of questions asked of the two center backs in terms of their spacing and rotation. That's been lacking for LA Galaxy.
Mavinga. And Pooch.
And everything in front of this back line for RSL. You asked Justin Glad, you asked Marcelo Silva. It's been so easy. Everything's been in front of them, moving from left to right. No one spinning around, going behind, and that's a nightmare for a center back. Was facing around their own goal. That's when mistakes are made.
See Pooch with that remarkable ability to accelerate and now have a hit, which takes a deflection and will result in a corner to LA. It's that stop-start speed that he has that allows him to, at times, dictate the game.
Just so special. So comfortable at the ball with his feet. Glides by players, but also picking and choosing the right decisions at the right time. And the most lively player for LA Galaxy on the attacking phase. Just have the willingness to create something out of nothing.
See if they can create from the corner. Boyd's delivery in towards the back stick. Man down on that far side is Pooch. The referee with the Mutombo finger wag. And it'll be a goal kick to Real Salt Lake. Quarterfinal round got started at TQL Stadium, Cincinnati. Getting a dubious goal and then a wonder goal to knock out Pittsburgh. Riverhounds out of the competition. Houston Dynamo dominant at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview. And then Miami earlier tonight, getting the 1-0 courtesy of the goal from Nicolas Stefanelli. And now through the Open Cup semifinal to take on Cincinnati. A day in which they confirm one of the biggest signings in the history of American soccer. Lionel Messi departing Paris Saint-Germain, deciding to take his talents to South Florida. Weak feet there from Ojeda. We've seen some nice little bits of skill from RSL tonight. Ojeda, one of the many Bryans brought into this team, on loan from Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. What's coming from behind there from Brugman is a clean win in the judgment of the referee. Brugman looked like he wanted to have a chip. On for Costa. Douglas Costa and Caligari, low cross in towards Joveljic. He just didn't get clean purchase on the strike. Tyler Boyd was arriving behind Joveljic if he just let it run. But a decent build-up there from the Galaxy does not turn into much.
And it's a hard challenge here from Brugman, just showing a bit of life, and just picks a pocket of Pablo Ruiz, and then he lets this play develop. As his ball comes around the corner, you just see the movement. As his back line for Real Salt Lake is retreating, this cutback ball is so efficient. But if you're Boyd and you're Puig, you need to be barking at Joveljic to let this ball go through to you. You have tons of real estate, tons of green grass in front of you to collect this ball, have a clean strike on target. Jovlic's first touch sends him backward, doesn't get his hips around it. And in the end, it's an easy save for Beavers.
Aguirre. Challenge coming in there from Edwards. Galaxy have had their moments in this second half, but largely after the game is gone. Third goal from Savarino early in the second half. As Real Salt Lake comfortably in front. Joveljic and Puig trying to interchange. Shots for handball. Referee was fine to let play continue, but Joveljic dispossessed, and now Brody to carry Salt Lake forward.
And as they commit a lot of numbers forward, they overexpand and leave themselves very vulnerable going back the other way. It's a good decision here from Gomez not to force the issue, put his foot on it, have the ball circulation to draw out LA Galaxy once again. Just see this big gap between lines once again. You can get Damir Kreilach to pull out a center back, get him on the half turn. You're gonna have a lot of success going back the other way.
Gomez. Dispossessed there by Edwards. Now Puig again trying to drift through. Decent idea in towards Aguirre, will still come for him. Aguirre in the penalty area, goes down, and that'll be a penalty. It was clumsy from Marcelo Silva. And perhaps a little bit of a lifeline here for LA as they've won the spot kick.
Good ball in for Puig once again, and as Aguirre gets a second bite of the apple, the lack of defending to make a challenge from first Justin Glad, and it's a secondary action there from Silva, the sweeping legs from Aguirre. He makes the most of it, to be fair, but there is contact.
And I think Silva knows immediately after, yeah, I gotcha.
He misses that first in action, tries to recover it. It's a silly leg in, and Aguirre makes the most of it. He feels any sort of contact, especially in around that 18-yard box, was always going to go down.
It's Gaston Brugman who will take here from the spot. Converted in the win against Real Salt Lake in the league a week ago, and Gaston Brugman has scored again against Real Salt Lake from the penalty spot. It's one back for LA Galaxy. Could we be heading towards the dramatic finale here at America First Field?
When your captains step up in times of adversity, just head down, lace it through the ball. Hits it so clean. As Beaver guesses the wrong way, Galaxy pull one back. It starts with his intent as well. The challenge that he puts into Pablo Ruiz sends a message that we're not going to go down swinging.
And it will be Andres Gomez coming off for the introduction of Bodi Hidalgo. So still the one change left for Pablo Mastroeni. Could RSL find the instant response? Nice ball in behind. The cutback is on towards Julio. Straight onto the pitch, Hidalgo, and nearly creating the chance. first involvement and decent opportunity. Puch again driving Galaxy forward. Boy, a nice switch of play out towards Douglas Costa. Getting beyond Brody. His low cross in towards Joveljic. Galaxy are finding their way a bit here.
That ball is just begging for Joveljic to come across Justin Glad. He gets the wrong side of the center back. We saw how important the first post run is from Real Salt Lake in the first half. If he just gets across his defender, he gets an action on that ball and tests his beaver as he gets caught on his heel. The moment goes begging once again.
Mavinga. Into Aguirre, who about controls. After winning that penalty. Costa now goes for the curler! Now then! Douglas Costa with a trademark goal! And we've got a dramatic one on here. 2 goals in quick succession, and the Galaxy are right back in it.
As a substitution, you want to bring 2 things, quality and energy. Aguirre's bring both of that, and this man as well. The little drop with the shoulder on top of this 18-yard box and just rope this thing into that far post. We've seen this before across the pond there from Douglas Costa, and what a terrific strike that was. LA Galaxy full of life at the moment.
And now a free kick coming for LA. 3-2 yet again between these two sides. It's RSL who have the lead, but only for now. Puch drifting beyond Ojeda. Still going Ricky Puch in towards Joveljic, who goes down edge of the area. Referee stares at it and gives nothing. Michael Chang attempting to get rid, and now he can sense a bit of the nerves here. Brugman. Now Krylock can Real Salt Lake just enjoy a bit of the ball here, or perhaps even hit on the break. Hidalgo coming forward. Edwards slowing him down. Brugman's challenge there on Anelli results in a much needed deep breath here for Real Salt Lake.
Once again, it's Joveljic that gets on the end of it, and his first touch just lets him down. Brilliant one from Puch to guide through players. And as this ball comes into Joveljic, it just pops up. That gives the midfield line for RSL to double down, force a turnover. You need to be a bit more clean if you're a striker, and collecting the ball, the ability to bring players in.
And it will be Pablo Ruiz who will make way for the final change for Real Salt Lake. It's Loffelson. Jasper Loffelson, the German. Douglas Costa has made this interesting, and earlier on with a healthy injury delay in the second half as Brian Oviedo received some treatment. I'm curious how much stoppage time we'll have here. Not at the moment, that would be academic, as the game would largely be gone, but now the Galaxy feel like they can have a go here. Really in this game too much for the first 75 minutes. All of a sudden, Salt Lake supporters having to get behind their team yet again. Frankly, RSL never looked more comfortable than when they're attacking.
Got a bit complacent on the ball. Tempo dropped a little bit, moving the ball from left to right, not really penetrating, taking advantage of the misshape of this backline for LA Galaxy.
Nice 1-2 there, Anelli and Krylock. In towards Krylock, chips it towards that back post. It was nearly a sublime chip, but headed off the line there by Caligari. Sensational there from the Galaxy right back to keep them in it. And sensational from Krylock on that attempt. And Caligari, I think, has stayed down in the goal after putting his body on the line. everything to keep the Galaxy in it.
And it's a continuation of the run here from Manelli, the 1-2, and as he cuts this ball back, everyone's on their heels. The audacity from Damir Krajlik just to try this up and over, but talk about goal line defending, to put his body on the line there. Caligari keeps this thing alive for LA Galaxy. If that ball hits the back of the net, it's game over. Real Salt Lake, last-ditch defending effort from the right back.
Now a drop ball coming for Salt Lake. A big chance, and that was cheeky and class there from Krajlik. Would have been some way to get his hat trick. And now referee Rami Touchon ready to put this ball back in play. I think Michael Cheng play it back. Some confusion about what to do from that drop ball. A genuine question about stoppage time here as Caligari has won it back into Ricky Puig. Joveljic trying to help it there for Boyd, but couldn't quite get it to him. And Douglas Costa switches, not have enough on it. And Hidalgo trying to carry forward. Challenge in the way there from Brugman, poking it out of play.
And he's been far better in the second half in terms of his positioning. Brugman putting out a lot of fires, doing a lot of the dirty work, running from touchline to touchline, putting in very difficult challenges. Something that was lacking from the visitors in this first half.
Launched down the line there by Anelli. Krajlik wanted a free kick, but Mavinga will just let it run, but having to give away the throw. Deep in their own end is trying to get back on the ball and get LA going forward. Greg Vanney frustrated. Supporters in full voice here. It's a minimum of 7 minutes added at the end of this second half. 7 minutes for the Galaxy to complete this improbable comeback. It's a throw into the home side. Raheem Edwards going down to his knees there, appealing to the assistant. Now Anelli and Hidalgo will continue to just watch seconds come off the clock. Hidalgo letting it run. Mavinga wants to too, but they'll have to play out. The Galaxy don't look comfortable doing so. Loffelson, nobody there on the back post, and now Caligari launching forward up towards Joveljic, who can control here, but Silva gets ahead to it, then a further touch to it, puts out that particular fire.
Terrific 1v1 defending there from Silva. Reads the flight of the ball, it takes the contact, not the initial action, but the secondary once again to connect his pass and relieve some of the pressure.
Loffelson, though, into trouble. Brugman winning it back and gets it from Joveljic and goes for goal, and Beavers force into the save.
And he's been the catalyst in the second half in terms of his defensive efforts, turning into attacking opportunity. And I think he makes a wrong decision.
Costa from the short corner. Could he go for the magic yet again? Douglas Costa chipping into the air. Joveljic trying to get something on it. Shouts for handball. They look half-hearted in the end. Referee uninterested. Edwards for Costa. And goes outside of the boot, and that was not the right ball. In towards Aguirre. Will want to get this ball back in play quickly.
But as Brugman just picks a pocket, I think if he just rotates this ball once again, you see the overload. Tyler Boyd, Ricky Puig making this run, testing the shape of Anelli. Talk about decision making. That's something that Greg Vanney stressed to us in our phone call, and lack thereof in 93rd minutes.
Back in possession now. Salt Lake throwing numbers behind the ball. Trying to see out this lead. Not been always solid defensively. Puig. Shaped out wide for Caligari. And Douglas Costa. Into Puig. and try and control it. Has to come off his arm. It's really the right pace on that ball, and Puig frustrated there. He couldn't catch that one under his spell.
He also just fires this in. Too much to handle there for Puig, and you don't say that very often with the technique. From the center midfielder, the ball just pops up, hits him in the hand. I think the argument is just to play simple, play it into Brugman, excuse me. Just go around the corner, go out the other way. Don't try to force the issue and play into it. Low percentage pass.
Fairly remarkable attacking output from both sides. Showed you total shots there as Julio tries to get around Mavinga. 10 on target for RSL, resulting in 3 goals, and the Galaxy with 6 on target from 20 shots. The Galaxy will keep going and going again in search of a third. It's well on their way out of this competition. Various stages of this game. They've fought their way back. Make a fist of this. Given away there on that right side. As Julio was trying to make that run in behind, but wasn't really on for him, and Klinsmann will come all the way out. Put it back in play. Mavinga. Daniel Aguirre. For the switch out towards Costa, and not certain that he had really started the run to be able to play that, and it goes out of play for the throw-in.
Just the wrong decision once again. There's no need to hit a ball over 60 yards. Connect that first pass, and then you can slowly rotate that ball over and circulate it and create an overload on that far side. As you elect to hit that home run ball, you give 2 things: time and space for RSL to bleed the clock down, but also get on the ball once again.
Nice done there by Boyd to change direction, but dispossessed there in the middle. Vera trying to hit that early ball forward. Find that lethal counterattack that will result in an RSL 4th. Cáceres. Caligari. It's a big reason why this game is still a 1-goal game. Up towards Joveljic. The incredibly acrobatic defensive intervention there from Silva. Wasn't out of a textbook, but gets the job done.
And he's been spot on. The 2 center backs for Real Salt Lake, whether it's Justin Glad, Marcelo Silva, as one steps, the other one provides that coverage. But that's the run that you've been asking for 96 minutes for Joveljic. If you're Greg Vandy, just someone to break the line, to pull out a center back out of position, to create a gap for an opposing player. Something that's been lacking in terms of the movement on the front line for LA Galaxy, and that's why you haven't really seen having the ability to create combination plays on top of the 18-yard box.
Caligari coming forward. Costa able to control on the touchline, and a nice bit of skill. Puig. Aguirre's touch heavy. And Puig really frustrated with Aguirre, but Caligari's won it back. Gets his way into the fight. Challenge is going in. Referee allowing play to continue. Final minute of the minimum of 7. Into the penalty area. Away from Brody. Come out for the throw. Only seconds remaining here. Aguirre and Boyd dispossessed. And up towards Julio. He's got Loffelson running with him. He'll play him in. Loffelson will probably now take it to the corner flag. And he will indeed. We'll see some more time off the clock. But it cuts it back into Kreilach. Kreilach for his hat trick tries to bend into the corner. Julio and Kreilach lofting it back to Julio, going for the overhead kick, and that would have been spectacular, but I'm not sure it's what the situation called for.
Just training ground stuff, trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat. The flick over the top, audacity to try a bike.
How much time is left? Down for Puig. Referee allow the play to continue, challenge in. Dispossessing Puig, and there's full time. They made it nervy, but Real Salt Lake are through to the semifinal of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup to take on Houston Dynamo as they've beaten LA Galaxy by 3-2 on the night.
Sigh of relief for that man. Ability to close out games, didn't make it as tight as he would like. Again, how clinical and critical can you be in and around that 18-yard box on all the day, especially in that first half? Real Salt Lake There's too many questions for LA Galaxy, not enough answers. LA Galaxy, the last 15 minutes, that's how you need to start the game. That's how you need to play the duration of 90 minutes. The lack of defensive shape, the lack of rotation and communication. Plays to your detriment, and that man gets his brace in the first half. Leader, not only on the field, but off it. Well-deserved win for Real Salt Lake.
And they were comfortably in front after 80 minutes of this game, but Galaxy found a goal courtesy of a penalty given away by Marcelo Silva. Gaston Brugman converting, and then Douglas Costa making it interesting with a tremendous goal to make it 3-2. But in the end, Real Salt Lake would hold on, as we can now get to our full-time highlights from this one. As Real Salt Lake were off and running in the first half. Weren't really the aggressors from the off, but finding the spaces, Savarino, Rubin, and Krylak for the tap-in.
It's just so simple, up, back, and through. As Justin Glad breaks his line, all about the secondary movement from Krylak to play up the shoulder of Cáceres, but you just see there needs to be more communication. And then it goes bad to worse for LA Galaxy. The extension of the arm right around the hip of Rubin, and Krylak gets his brace. What a terrific pen that was.
Yeah, fantastic finish and a brace there for the captain, who would nearly get his hat-trick in the second half. And then into the second half, Rubin charging Real Salt Lake forward and playing it in behind Savarino. A fantastic run and a cooler finish.
That little instance of indecision there from Mark Delgado pays to his detriment. Jefferson Savarino gets around the corner. What a cheeky finish. And then as Silva gets a second bite of the apple, there's no need to lunge back. Aguirre makes the most of it, goes down. There is contact, and Brugman just ropes this thing, head down, laces through it. We have a game at this point in time.
And then for 3-2, the ball would come for Douglas Costa. We've seen this exact motion so many times in his career. Couple touches inside, curler far post, and it would be game on.
And no one steps up to close the space. And when you give a player that quality, about 20 yards out, he was always going to hit the target. Just ropes this thing side foot into that far net, but it's just not enough for LA Galaxy as Real Salt Lake marches in to the semifinal to play the Houston Dynamo.
And it wasn't always perfectly convincing from Real Salt Lake in the close to the game, but they get the victory, and that's all it takes. Survive and advance, and this is how the semifinal stage will look. Houston Dynamo, Real Salt Lake on the western side, FC Cincinnati, and Inter Miami, potentially with Lionel Messi in the semifinal. Now, those will be tasty matchups, and again, tomorrow will be the draw to determine which of these two teams, or which of these four teams, will be at home, both for the semifinal stage and for the final. The teams that advance all the way to the ultimate prize in this Open Cup, a chance to win it all with one game potentially at home. That is tomorrow, 1 p.m. on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. But tonight, Real Salt Lake were cruising. They were 3-0 up, but the Galaxy would make it interesting. In the end, their comeback effort falling short as Real Salt Lake are through to the semifinal of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. For a tremendous production team, my broadcast partner, Ricky Lopez-Espin, my name is Chris Whittingham, signing off as RSL are through to the semifinal to take on Houston.
Opens up his hips and closes them at the last second, sends Klinsmann the wrong way. Front of that back line to negate those